Welcome to the Fantasy Baseball Show, and here are your DFS matchups for September 23rd. First game we're going to go over is Philadelphia Phillies at Washington Nationals. Luis Garcia is the guy I like the most when it comes to value in that Nationals lineup. And in that Phillies lineup, I like Andrew Knapp, Scott Kingery, and Jay Bruce as great value picks, all with OPSs over 1,000 versus Eric Fedde. I am not sure if Jay Bruce is on the IL. The price seems so low that I'm going to assume Jay Bruce is on the IL. So instead, target Andrew Knapp and Scott Kingery. Next game we're going to go over is Texas Rangers versus the Diamondbacks. No hitters to talk about, but I do like Alex Young. I will get into that later. Chicago White Sox at Cleveland Indians. Both pitchers are great options, but there's not too much value there in Lucas Giolito and Shane Bieber. The hitters I like from the Indians include Jose Ramirez, and it really does end there, especially with Lucas Giolito on the mound. Ramirez has been on fire. If you're going to spend big money on a hitter today, it should probably be Jose Ramirez. From this White Sox lineup, I really like Jose Abreu and Yan Moncada. Again, they're versus Shane Bieber, and unless you think Shane Bieber's due for some massive regression, you're probably avoiding all White Sox hitters and any hitters that are versus Shane Bieber. Next up, we have New York Yankees at Toronto Blue Jays, Tanaka versus Robbie Ray. I'm not targeting either pitcher today in my lineups, but I am targeting Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Randall Grichuk. Both guys have OPS above 1,000. In 12 plate appearances, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 2 home runs, and in 22 plate appearances, Grichuk has 4 home runs. But they each have 4 strikeouts, and that's troublesome with Gurriel having half the amount of at-bats. So I do like Grichuk more than Gurriel, and it's $100 more. I think you pay that price every time. Yankees, because of the matchup data, there's really not too many value picks to discuss. Of course, Luke Voit, LeMahieu, great guys, but they're priced accordingly. So take your pick with the Yankees lineup. You gotta pay up for some bats. I would pay up for Luke Voit and LeMahieu today. Robbie Ray is nothing special, and I love righty hitters against any lefty, especially a lefty like Robbie Ray. Milwaukee Brewers versus Cincinnati Reds. We have Adrian Hauser versus Cy Young contender Trevor Bauer. Bauer is definitely a pitcher I like today. Hitters from that Reds lineup that I really like today are at the top Jesse Winker and Eugene Suarez. Each guy has 2 home runs versus Adrian Hauser. Winker in 8 and Suarez in 9 plate appearances. 2 strikeouts for Suarez and 1 for Winker, and no walks for either of them versus Hauser. But the power is there for both guys. You want power in your DFS lineup, and Winker and Suarez will give you that pop. On the other hand, versus Bauer, I'm probably fading this whole Brewers lineup. The only guy who seems to have decent, consistent numbers versus Bauer is Avisail Garcia, going for $2,700. If he's starting today, I would definitely check that out. I don't think a great start is guaranteed for Bauer. Bauer's been an inconsistent guy. I'm a big Bauer fan. But if he gives up 3 runs today, I wouldn't be surprised. And as a big DeGrom fan, neither would be disappointed. But $9,800, you're not getting a great value for Bauer, but he's probably going to get at least 10 strikeouts versus this Brewers lineup that's been abysmal. Next up is Houston Astros at Seattle Mariners. Greinke going for $9,400, which is a big price for a guy who doesn't really get the strikeouts. But you don't have a great start versus Mariners lineup. Hitters of note are hard to come by in this Mariners lineup when you get past Kyle Lewis. Kyle Seager seems to have good numbers against Zach Greinke, which is surprising. He's going for $4,900. I personally would never pay $4,900 for Kyle Seager, though. I think that's just a very steep price for a guy who's basically been a jag, which is just a guy. Kyle Seager is just a guy. I'm not really crazy about him. I wouldn't pay that $4,900 for Kyle Seager. I'm fading that Mariners lineup today without a doubt. The Astros, on the other hand, I would like to pick up today. I would like to pick up Yuli Gurriel. I always pronounce that name wrong. I always say Yuri. It's Yuli Gurriel. $2,800. Only 2 plate appearances, but 1 home run and a 4,000 OPS versus the lefty for the Mariners. You're not gonna get Nick Marjaverse for the Mariners. This Astros team has been bad, but when they verse a guy like this, they're gonna have a great game. Gurriel, Bregman, they're gonna get some hits today. Next game up is Chicago Cubs at Pittsburgh Pirates. This is probably the game I'm going to be watching when 7 o'clock hits. I'll be going back from this game and the Mets game because I love Kyle Hendricks, a.k.a. the Professor. He pitches 88 miles per hour, but he just dots the zones. He has a great sinker, great curveball, best changeup in the game probably. Hitters I like, though, for the Pirates, if I'm going to get a guy, it's going to be Gregory Polanco, who has 2 homers off Kyle Hendricks. That's the only guy I'm going to get in that Pirates lineup tonight. And Trevor Williams, another soft tosser, who I think one day might be able to be a Kyle Hendricks light. I think Trevor Williams has the stuff to be kind of like Kyle Hendricks, has the accuracy, has the control. I think he's just coming into his own a little slower. That being said, he's not anywhere near Kyle Hendricks' skill level yet, so I would definitely pick up Kyle Schwarber, $3,700 with 3 home runs versus Trevor Williams in his career. You definitely want Schwarber in your DFS lineup today. I would say Schwarber is the best hitter to target today when it comes to value. I mentioned Kyle Seager earlier. It's funny how Schwarber is going for $3,700. Kyle Seager is going for $1,200 more. I don't know if that's a third base thing. Then again, Eugene Suarez was going for a similar price, so I don't know what that exactly is. But Schwarber is definitely a great pickup today. Next game we're going to go over is the Miami Marlins versus the Atlanta Braves. 2 great pitchers on the mound, Sixto Sanchez and Max Fried. But the Marlins have hit lefties well, and of course the Braves have hit righties phenomenally. Sixto Sanchez has been lights out. Not a lot of data to discuss. I still like Marcell Ozuna. He's been great. I still like Freddie Freeman. But be wary because Sixto Sanchez, he's getting a lot of hype. He could be a legit ace. So you might need to fade these Braves hitters today. And again, Marlins, they're going against Max Fried. They've been great against lefties, but Max Fried's not your typical lefty. Max Fried's in the Cy Young contention if he had the strikeouts. Amazing pitcher, great ground ball stuff. He gets outs, he gets through games. Corey Dickerson, a lefty, going against Max Fried, even though he has good numbers, that's in 2 plate appearances. So I'm really not too enthusiastic about anyone on this Marlins lineup. Next game up is Tampa Bay Rays at New York Mets. My team, Michael Wacha versus Tyler Glasnow. Only 6 hitters total to discuss with limited plate appearances for this matchup. No one has a home run versus the pitcher they're facing, so I really can't give you too many suggestions. I wish I could. I'll say this, Jeff McNeil for going that much less than Brendan Nimmo. I know my values here aren't exactly correct, but they show how much guys are going relative to other guys. Jeff McNeil going for $3,600 compared to Nimmo's $4,400. I definitely like McNeil at that price. When we get to the Tampa Bay Rays, there's not too much to talk about. I've been watching some games. I would say Brandon Lau and Nate Lau are good guys to target tonight, especially Brandon Lau. I really like his profile. I think he's going to be, him and Albies, I think, are the 2 best second basemen in the game. Personally, I know that's an outrageous opinion to put Brandon Lau up there, but he had the power last year. I mean, hitting 30 home runs from the second base is no small order. I think Brandon Lau, is the better pickup today for the Tampa Bay Rays. But if you want a guy at first base, check out Nate Lau. Baltimore Orioles at Boston Red Sox. No hitters to discuss for that Red Sox lineup. They're versing a rookie pitcher in Dean Kremer for the Orioles. But Nathan Eovaldi, the veteran, has accumulated some plate appearances versus these Orioles hitters. Of course, the guy I've been saying the most this year is Renato Nunez, and that's who I'm going to say again today. Renato Nunez versus Nathan Eovaldi, 2 home runs with a 1,700 OPS and 13 plate appearances versus Nathan Eovaldi. Check out Renato Nunez from that Orioles lineup for your DFS matchups today. Detroit Tigers at Minnesota Twins. Casey Mize versus Kenta Maeda. I have both these guys on my pitchers list today, which I will go over later. The only hitter of note, I guess, for this Royals lineup is for this Twins lineup, is Jorge Polanco. He's the only guy with a homer versus Casey Mize. There's really no values of Miguel Sano I was going to suggest, but he's going for more than Jorge Polanco. I mean, you could still check Miguel Sano out. I'm not saying Casey Mize is a shutout pitcher by any means, but I think Casey Mize is probably getting underpriced. I think rookies are underpriced until they do it, and then, of course, they're accordingly priced. I think we'll see Casey Mize hit $8,000 for every start by next year. For those who don't know, Casey Mize is one of the top prospects coming into this year. So, of course, he's struggling a little bit figuring out the major league hitters. But he can find it out in any start, and he'll just continue from there. So keep an eye on Casey Mize tonight going against that Minnesota Twins lineup. And keep an eye on Kenta Maeda today going against his Tigers lineup. The only hitters with a home run versus Kenta Maeda are Victor Reyes and Jeimer Candelario. I think I've slept on Candelario a little bit. I think I waved it off. But I would take a look at Candelario tonight. Yeah, he's shown that he's a legit player. He's getting everyday at bats. I think I slept on him, so I want to give him his due. I would definitely take a look at Jeimer Candelario tonight. St. Louis Cardinals at Kansas City Royals. I think both these pitchers are interesting guys. I was disappointed when I saw the values. I thought maybe they'd be priced a little cheaper because the Cardinals are really a pretty good offense, so I thought Duffy would be below 7,000. And Carlos Martinez, with all his injury struggles and struggles in general, I thought he'd be priced a little lower. I've always been a big fan of Carlos Martinez and his stuff. That being said, I can't really suggest any hitters from this Royals lineup, which is, of course, a common theme. Jorge Soler is really the only true power bat in that lineup. And even then, he limited plate appearances to really make a suggestion versus Carlos Martinez. And Danny Duffy versus Cardinals lineup has been pretty decent, I guess. Harrison Bader has a home run and Matt Wieters have a home run. I don't think he's worrying about those guys tonight. They're probably the two worst hitters in the Cardinals. So my guy Paul DeYoung I always like. Brad Miller's going for a crazy price. There's really no edge in this game. There's no targets. You see a lineup like this. I like sure things. There's no sure things in this game. I would just scratch it. There's really no sure things in this Cardinals Kansas City game. Oakland Athletics at Los Angeles Dodgers. Sean Manaea versus Julio Urias. Hitters I like for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts with 2 home runs. He's a big price you got to pay, of course. Chris Taylor's a little cheaper though. Chris Taylor has a home run versus Sean Manaea. And when we go over to this Oakland lineup, I guess they have never faced Julio Urias. I do like Urias today. Urias is one of my guys today. The Athletics are not particularly good against lefties. Colorado Rockies at San Francisco Giants. 2 young pitchers on the mound tonight. So no data to really discuss. Garrett Hampson does have a home run against Logan Webb, but I really don't like discussing it when if you look at this Giants lineup, they each have 1 at bat versus Ryan Castellani. Not going to talk about that. And no one has more than 5 at bats versus Logan Webb on this Rockies team. Really nothing to talk about there. And that's the last batter matchup we're going to go over. But let me just go over the pitchers I like for today. Of course, we have Shane Bieber at the top. Not much to discuss there. He's going for such a high price that I kind of just put him up there because I didn't want to not put him up there. But he's not really a suggestion I'm making today. My biggest suggestion today is Kyle Hendricks versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Of course, I'm a Kyle Hendricks fan, as I stated earlier. But the Pirates have been the worst team versus righties. A 58 weighted runs created plus. For those who don't know what weighted runs created plus, it's basically the best comprehensive offensive stat we have. Similar to OPS plus, it's weighted for ballpark factors, for a bunch of different factors, for league relative to the whole league factors. So a 58 weighted runs created plus is basically saying, it's really saying in the best way any stat could say, that the Pittsburgh Pirates have been 62% worse than the league average versus right-handed pitchers, which is the worst any team has been against righties all season, if you see the Fangraphs split leaderboard. And if you look, for teams versus righties today, the second worst is at 80 weighted runs created plus. So that just gives you some context. I mean, we're not talking about that there's some teams around 50 or 60. This is incredibly bad. This is an outlier. You really want to target any righty ever going against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But when it's not elite guy, but when it's a great pitcher like Kyle Hendricks, you definitely want him. And he should be priced way more than he is. He should be priced at least 9,000 because, I mean, he's versus the worst offense in baseball. Next guy I have today is Trevor Bauer versus the Milwaukee Brewers. They have a 27% K rate versus righties. And I was never really too high on the Brewers. I've always loved Yelich, but I always felt like the Brewers were kind of just contending for that wild card. And they always were kind of just bandaging together a team. I do like Vogelbach, though. Vogelbach's a guy I like. I play in points and on base percentage leagues, and he really shines in those leagues. So maybe take a look at Vogelbach tonight in that Milwaukee Brewers lineup, but definitely look at Trevor Bauer versus that Brewers lineup. Trevor Bauer's contending for the Cy Young. He has every motivation, every reason to put in a great start tonight versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Kenta Maeda versus Detroit. Detroit has an 80 weighted runs created plus versus righties. Maeda has been great this season. ERA less than 3. He's just continuing where he left off with the Dodgers. Lucas Giolito versus Cleveland. Cleveland has been very bad. This offense has been very bad. That's been a problem for them for the past 3 or 4 years, I think. There's something with that team. I don't know, man. They tried to get Firmino Reyes. He did some stuff for them. He's still producing, but they're just not a great offensive team. Pitching is really what they rely on. So Lucas Giolito versus Cleveland tonight. And my budget pitchers. Sixto Sanchez was a last-minute addition. Just because he's versus the Braves, I really don't want to suggest you guys, I don't want to suggest pitchers to you guys who have a chance of getting blown up. And I think any pitcher has a chance of getting blown up against that Atlanta Braves lineup, I mean, they have Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman, and Marcelo Zuna. I think those are the 4 best. I think they have the 4 best hitters in any lineup. Give me those 4 guys over any other 4 guys from any of the lineup. They don't strike out a lot. They're fat. Marcelo Zuna, Albies, and Acuna have speed. It's a very dynamic lineup. Freddie Freeman, of course, one of the best hitters in the game, probably going to win the NL Cy Young. So Sixto Sanchez, take a look at him, but he's versus the Braves, so that's a risky bet. Julio Urias versus the Oakland Athletics, 25% K rate versus lefties Oakland has. Urias has been a guy I liked for the past couple years. He came up as a 19-year-old. He has the stuff. He battled some hard injuries, but he should put in a decent start tonight. I'm going to say 6 innings, 6-7 innings of 2 to 3 runs with 8 strikeouts. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that with a 25% K rate from this Oakland team. And if it's in Oakland, oh, it's not in Oakland. I was going to say if it's in Oakland, even better because that's a big lineup. It's in Dodger Stadium now. It's a great stadium to pitch in, Dodger Stadium. It's not Oakland, but it's a great stadium to pitch in. So definitely take your eye on Julio Urias. Alex Young, the lefty versus Texas. I think he's a rookie. He's been in the bullpen a little bit, maybe a rookie last year. But 67 weighted runs created plus versus lefties for that Texas lineup. Similarly to the Pirates, they are the worst team going against their handiness today. The second worst is Arizona. And then you have Oakland all the way up at 97. To just give you an idea of how bad a 67 weighted runs created plus is for a whole team versus handiness. It'd be one thing if one guy had a 67 weighted runs created plus, but a whole team, I mean, it's just absurd. Just to give you some context, I know you guys don't understand some of these things. Weighted runs created plus, what exactly is that? Just compared to the teams going today, Miami has a 111 weighted runs created plus versus lefties. Miami Marlins, the Cardinals have a 107. Texas all the way down here at 67. That means they're almost 60% worse than the St. Louis Cardinals versus left-handed pitchers when it comes to an offensive perspective. The last pitcher I'm going to discuss is Casey Mize. Again, this is really just a prospect pedigree pick. It's just a pick because I think Mize, once he has that one great start, he will continue having amazing starts after that. And you don't want to miss out on that. Of course, you don't want him in every lineup today, but if you're doing dollar lineups, just put Casey Mize in one of them. Minnesota has a 25% K rate versus righties, so I think you have a good chance of getting some strikeouts, and I think Mize is built up a little bit. He has some longevity now. He's throwing some more innings, so he should go pretty deep into this game. It's the end of the season for Detroit. They're going to let him probably throw 90 to 100 pitches, which is rare for a rookie pitcher nowadays. That's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for all the support I've been getting on the YouTube channel, and if you haven't, check out the Instagram. It's at the Fantasy Baseball Show. No spaces, no hyphens, no underline, no nothing. Just straight at the Fantasy Baseball Show. Give me a follow, give me some likes, DM me for some fantasy advice. I'm always willing to talk to people about fantasy baseball. I love talking about it. That's it for today, guys. Good luck and have a good one.